Okay, so this is my video for War Thunder. This is more of a guide, more than me just doing ship gameplay. I'm not gonna do that. If any game which I play, I'm gonna be really trying to like help you, or just make some like funny. So you have the P-26s. This is for aviation. For settings, I would highly recommend going to your controls. Once you do that, go to make sure it's on mouse aim because you're not playing simulator battles. Go to aiming, and just do this. Just left stick or just mouse, whatever. Mouse will automatically know if I'm on mouse and keyboard. So just do that right away. And so now you have the P-26. With the P-26, it's basically just like a reserve, most basic fighter. It's just not that fun, and it's really funny, but not like but now the monoplanes, those are now like the more funner planes. P-36, F3F, they're very similar. They're not world's best, but then guess what? At this low BR, no one's in best because most people are gonna be new. P-36C, it's the more stronger, more guns. The P-36G, it's a really good variant. It has much more ammo, and it's pretty decent at 2.3. F2, F3F, it's the same thing as P-36. F2A though, this variant, F2A1, it's not the best, but it has 50 cals. So it's only going to be better, and then it can decently turn. Now the F2A3, at its BR, it can pretty much outclimb anything because it's had a very high climb rate, and you have 50 cal, so you're gonna pretty much blow up people with one hit. Now with the SB2U, sorry about that. With the SB2U, right? It's basically just like your standard dive bomber. But it's a lower BR of the SB3. These are suffering to be with. Unless you're in like tanks, I'd recommend playing using tanks because it's just, trust me, it'll be much more better. You do not want to stay suffering in the air battles because you're not gonna be able to do much if there's someone behind you. The TBF, it's kind of bad. Just don't use it, my guy. Just please don't use it. A36, on the other hand, it's the variant of a P-51 that's made for it is meant to help ground units, but it was never really that used. So now you have the P400. It's basically a P39, except like a lower BR. P40, that is everyone knows like the P40 Warhawk. It is pretty good. Only thing is your climb rate you have to watch out for. But if you're booming zooming someone, trust me, it's really really good. F4F, if you boom and zoom people, you're also going to be really good. I'd primarily just do that. F4U, you can pretty much outclimb everything, and you're pretty much faster than everything. So I'd say just use that to your advantage. At 2.7, just literally just fly past someone and then just continue going. Now the P40F, it's a bit lighter, a bit more lightweight than the P40, except it's still protected with armor. So yeah, so you still have that advantage. Now the P39, as I said, the P39 is better than the P400 because it has basically better guns and then it's a better turn time, as well as a better climb rate. P38, you have what's going for you. You have a two-engine, just a heavy fighter that can actually turn. Right, it has a decent turn time, decent climb rate, and then the higher battle rating, which is like the 3.0, the higher battle rating you go, the stronger the engines. Now the P51, this one, as I said, is a variant of the A6 is a variant of this P51. So this P51 Britain introduced to America. America tried it, but then they're like, no, let's just smash some 50 cals in this bad boy, and then let's call it American. So yep, and then we have the A36, A20, a ground pounder. It's not that fun ground pounding, especially when you get bullied by 4 fighters. Rank 3 is when things are get a bit more entertaining, as I would like to call it. Right, so you have the P63. It is a decent plane, right? Really good plane at 3.7. Really good guns, really good armament. Can climb. It can pretty much. I wouldn't call it the best at 3.7, but it's one of the but it's definitely up there. The P63, the A10 and the C5. The C5 is the better out of all of them. It has just a better gun in general. But the P36 A10 is also really decent, really good climb rate, really good everything, really good speed, and it's also very good at low altitude. And the engine is in like the middle section of the plane, so basically don't be scared to take head-ons. Now the P63 C10 is the let me pronounce this correctly, Tuskegee. I hope I pronounced it correctly. It's basically Tuskegee 51, right? And it's fairly good. Only thing is, it has 450 cows, but it does get made up by its speed. It can go like 400 miles per hour in a straight line. And so now you're the P47. You should be you're basically heavy or fat, except if you boom zoom someone, or you just simply surprise them, you're gonna just blow them up with 50 cows. F41D, it's a more lightened version of the F41A. F6F is a better version of the F4F. It can turn better. It has, well, maybe not turn better, but it's faster, and it has better armament. Not a 5N variant. It's supposed to be more. It's made more for night, not day. But you can try it. We can research it if you really want to, but I wouldn't recommend. Yeah, P4 and D25. The D variants are really good. The D28 especially is my favorite because it has the best turn rate out of all the P47s. And so now if you take the F41C, F4U1C, it has 20 mils, right? Yes, you are a bit more heavier, but you still have 20 mils. You can still out climb things. You can still boom and zoom. You can still at least decently turn. So you're still pretty good, right? These SB2C, you basically are a dive bomber with some decent armament. The same thing with SB2C4, PBJ. It is a better variant than the A20. P61 is the same night fighter, except it's better because it's an air spawn. That F4U4, on the other hand, it's basically almost like F4U4B, except it just has literally they switch guns. That's literally all they do. They switch guns, right? F4U4, America said screw the 50 cows. Let's just throw them some good old 20 mils. So I mean that's what happened there. Now for rank 5. Oh no, rank 4. I just completely. We're not talking about jets. Alrighty. So basically, P30J. As I said earlier, these get more. The engines get more powerful. So the engine for this thing is much more powerful. It can climb way more harder than the P30E. Now the P30L, you can out climb pretty much everything. As an interceptor, P51, it's your typical P51. Only thing, don't go slow, and please climb. It's like it's like one of the best boom zoomers at 4.3 and at 5.0. F4U4B, that is basically the Chad variant of the F4U. You're gonna love it. P47N, it is okay, but I wouldn't recommend it because I don't like it, but you might, so. You never know. F8F Bearcat. It's basically a really good. It's basically a smaller version of the F4U. Except it is a F8F. So it has its advantages and disadvantages. Except the 1B, it's almost like the F4U4B. It's just that they both have the same guns. And so I think F8F can actually climb a bit better. You need the F82. Do not play this thing. The repair cost is just too much for something which you just can't turn because you have a 27 point, and you're gonna be playing against props. You're not playing with jets because in real life it was kind of some jets, but that's a whole different thing. But yeah, again, you are literally going up against props which can outturn you no matter what. It can be a P47 can outturn you. And you're an F82. You're basically two of these P51s strapped together with some of course, and Mark 350 Brownie machine guns. It's pretty much that. F7F, it is a 6.7, so it's very close to jets, and you'll mainly see jets with this. Except the only thing is it has an air spawn and it can flip and climb. And then, that's pretty much it. You have premiums. I have this premium, F2G. It was free, and all you have to do just somebody just grind for it. So I just grinded for it. So that's pretty much like my first guide for America. If you want me to talk about coastal blue water fleet helicopters and army, I will talk about them. All right, but it's gonna take me like a little bit of time. So if you wanna, but right now I can talk about tanks, any other country with anything I can talk about. So that's pretty much it. Alrighty, guys, have a nice day.